Well, good evening. I'm Jeremy from Dunedin-based musical ensemble. We're not really an ensemble, so not enough of us to be an ensemble. Band, Civil War Corps. And this evening I'm going to do a little video, as I do from time to time, from a series that I call How Songs Come to Be. And it's about how songs come to be, okay, in case you hadn't inferred that. So the song that I'm going to talk about tonight is called All I Can Bleed. It is the fourth song that Civil War Corps have released, which is to say, I've made a very, very simple video. It's not really a video, it's more of just an image with music playing, and put that on YouTube. So it's on this channel, you can listen to it. You should listen to it. There's other songs too, listen to them as well. So tonight I'm going to talk about how that song was written, how it came to be. So a little bit of context. The song was written in a very unusual guitar tuning, which is, if I remember correctly, D, G, D, G, B, C. Yeah, which is quite odd. And if you're interested at all in where I came across that, how I came to play with that, then I suggest you watch the previous video from the series, which is about a song called The Ballad of Frosty Jack, which was the previous song that we've released. Okay, so yeah, All I Can Bleed, which sounds a bit grim when you say it like that, but it's a pretty serious sort of song, I suppose. It's dealing with some serious themes. I'm not going to tell you what they are because you can work that out for yourself from listening to it, or you might not work it out. I mean, that's an option as well. But in terms of how it was written, it wasn't the first song I wrote in this tuning. I'd written a few, but at some point I was just playing around and ultimately came up with some variation of this. I mean, I don't remember exactly. I probably didn't get it. I don't imagine I would have played the first time what the song actually ended up being, but something like this. So that's the intro, the verse, and it has a chorus, which goes, how does it go? I can't think how it goes without playing the rest of it. Oh yes. No. That's right. And then back into the verse. So it's very, very simple. There are really just those two parts to it, or slight variations on those two parts. Yeah, and so it was just it was pretty much as simple as it started out with something like this, just kind of fiddling around on the B string, and I just thought, oh, that's really nice. There was something really nice and simple about it, and it was just it was, to my ears at least, a lovely sort of melody. And I think I've talked in different videos that I've done in the past about, obviously about writing songs, but how I write them. You know, most of the time it's the music that comes first. Not always. And when it's not the music that comes first, when it's the lyrics, then that is a different journey. It's a different process. But when it's the music that comes first, and particularly if it's most of the music that comes first, as opposed to, say, just a little bit of a musical idea, when the music gets fairly fleshed out before lyrics start to get written, then obviously the music is very important. It's very important to me, and that the music makes that it kind of tells a story on its own. I mean, I don't know what the story is, but that it feels, at least to my ears, like you could just listen to the music and that would be pretty good, you know, or maybe even enough. And I certainly felt, you know, once I'd sort of worked this into the arrangement that it became, you know, when I finalized all the chord changes and the little nuances, I was pretty excited about it. I was like, wow, this is really cool. This to me feels like there's absolutely a song here. What's it going to be about, you know? And it was, you know, it was some years ago now, and so I don't remember it with incredible clarity, but I think I remember being very conscious that I was onto something that, at least by my estimations, was pretty special, you know, was pretty cool. And I didn't want to screw it up, and I didn't want to fail to do it justice, you know, lyrically. And so I just waited, which is always the best policy with these things. I just waited and trusted the system, I suppose you could say, my own system. Trusted that at some point, at the right moment, the right juncture, an idea would reveal itself, and it did. And it's, you know, have a listen to the song and you'll get a sense of what it's about. I suppose the song, I mean, lyrically, it's so obvious, I guess I could just say it. I mean, because as I've said in previous videos, I don't like saying, you know, this is what this song is about, this is what it means, because then I've kind of taken that away from you, but from the listener. But in fairness, the song, you'd be hard pressed to miss the mark on it, you know, and to misunderstand what it's about. So what it's about, at least as far as I'm concerned, there may be other ways of interpreting it, I don't know. But for me, when I was writing the song, it was about trying to carry more weight than is perhaps possible. You know, trying to do more than is humanly possible, you know, for you. And I guess I was writing from the point of view of being a husband and a father. And it was written at a time in my life when I and my wife and my family, you know, as a family unit, we were under what felt like an incredible amount of pressure from, it was from a chapter of our lives that was not terrible. I don't want to give that idea, but it was incredible. It was a level of stress that we as a family had not experienced. It was just coming from every angle. And I was feeling a great deal of it, trying to shield, you know, my kids from as much of it as I could. But even that I couldn't do, because there were just too many things that I was not in a position to control. And yeah, and it was written at a time in my life where I felt like I was writing songs just to stay sane, you know, possibly to stay alive. That's not meant to sound as dramatic as possibly it does, you know. But it was a very intense time, very stressful time. You know, just trying to hold things together. And so that's what the song was about. And if you listen to the lyrics, I think you'll very quickly go, oh yeah, right, I get it. And if you don't, well, I don't know, I guess you've got bigger problems and I can't help you, sorry. Or alternatively, maybe you're just more imaginative than me and you're You might decide it means something else to you, and that is fine. Yeah, but I think, well, one of the things that I really like about this song is that, again, to my ears, the lyrics and the music fit with each other really well. It's, I don't think it's a mournful song. You know, they're not, I don't think, when I listen to that, I don't think it's mournful, but there's definitely, you know, it's not a piece of music that says, come out and party, or some variation of that. It's not a song, not a piece of music to which you would write a song about getting high, or racing cars, or chasing girls, or, you know, blowing stuff up. It's, you know, I think that, you know, the tune, the music, the chords lend themselves to something a little more introspective, which is what I tend to write about. You know, I tend to specialize in that kind of thing. I don't think I'd be very convincing writing about chasing chicks and driving fast cars. And I have no interest in getting high, so, you know, there'd be a lack of authenticity there. So yeah, that's what it's about. I'm sorry, there's really only two parts to the music, and they get sort of, you know, one's the verse, one's the chorus, and they kind of get repeated a few different times, and that's it. It's pretty simple. Now, what's a little more interesting, well, what is also interesting is that, so, put the song out, I sent it out to a bunch of friends, including a friend that, an old flatmate of mine who I haven't talked to for years, not out of any particular decision to not talk to him. It's just, you know, we all know a lot of people, your lives go in different directions, and, you know, 10 years pass and you realize, oh, gee, I don't think we've actually talked in that time. So I sent it to him, and he's a composer, an orchestral composer and a conductor, and extremely good at what he does. And he had some ideas. He really liked the song. He was like, hey, have you thought about, you know, bringing like a cello and a violin? And I said, well, yeah, I had some ideas like that, but I didn't know how to put that together, and I didn't know any people who did that, or just, it was just too much. And in fairness to me, I was quite attracted to the idea of just doing the song as me on an acoustic guitar. Two reasons. One, almost all the other songs on the record, and certainly the three that we've put out so far, there's a lot of instrumentation, there's a lot of, you know, production value, I guess you could say. And that's cool, and I love that, but I thought it would be nice change of pace to put out a song that didn't have all of that, that was just me and an acoustic guitar. And also I thought, you know, the song lends itself to that. It's, you know, it's essentially me, kind of bearing my soul, you know, lyrically, and, you know, sort of it's feeling emotionally naked, I suppose you could say. And so I liked the idea of it being kind of musically naked too. Don't worry, I'm not going to get naked. That even a blunt instrument like me realizes that would be taking the metaphor too far. You know, even nakedness should have its limits, at least in this video. Yeah, so anyway, he, on a MIDI keyboard, composed a bunch of string parts in an unsettlingly short amount of time, and sent it to me. And I listened to it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is freaking killer. You know, it just takes, I mean, because I love how the song sounds on its own. But with the strings in it, I just went, whoa, this takes it to another level. So that was really cool. And, you know, and it was neat that we got to reconnect after such a long time of, you know, just having jobs and families and all that stuff, which is all great. But it's very consuming, and it's, you know, it can be how you sort of lose track of people. So my intention is that when we actually release the album as an album, that I'll include that version of it on the album. I mean, the opportunity may present itself to record those parts with real instruments rather than just using the MIDI composed part that he's done. But I mean, honestly, it sounds pretty great to me. I'm not going to lose sleep over it if that doesn't happen. So that's it. That's all I can bleed. So as I say, go and have a listen to it. Have several listens to it. Come back to it later. Listen to it again. But otherwise, yeah. Have a good night. And in a few more weeks, we'll be releasing another song. Yeah. So have a good night. Enjoy some music. Go listen to some music. If you play an instrument, go play it. If you've got a friend who plays an instrument but hasn't played it for a while, encourage them to play it. Encourage your kids to listen to music and to play instruments. Because music's pretty awesome.